with a call to action, you want to keep it broad and neutral. So majority of the time, recruiters will say something like, let me know if you're interested. What recruiters don't realize that is anybody who's not interested doesn't feel kind of spoken to by that particular call of action. So you're missing out on additional candidate feedback.
Initiating becoming a hiring machine sequence in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Keenly. Welcome back to Becoming a Hiring Machine. This is the show dedicated to fixing recruitment by going beyond saying what needs to change and instead teaches you how to make that change. Today we've got an incredible Tactical Tuesday ahead of us, but before we get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about the show. Essentially, we have shows within the show here. Some days we have interviews with industry thought leaders and others who are shaking up the space, while other days we cover things like trending topics. Stop by every Tuesday, like today, for a Tactical Tuesday, where we go deep on how to do something that's going to help you drive better results in your day-to-day. Some days we open up for Q&A, and other days you get a mic drop episode from Matt, where he shares something that he's been thinking about within the recruitment space and wants you to know. And as a reminder, if you like the content that we share here on the show, make sure that you subscribe for more. All right, today's Tactical Tuesday. You have crafted the perfect multi-stage omni-channel outreach campaign. But there's just one problem. You're stuck on the subject lines and the calls to action. What's going to catch your eye in the inbox? Should you be aggressive and share a link to your calendar? Should you be passive and not ask for anything? In scenarios like this, it's really tough to know, what's going to stand out? What should we do? What should we do to even get a response out of them? And that's what we have Vivien here for today, to help us figure out and unpack these two items. So Vivien, welcome back.
Thank you. Let's dive into it.
Oh yeah, so this fun one, subject line, CTAs. It's one of those where it sounds so simple on the surface, but if you've ever tried to come up with a new subject line or a CTA, you will get so in your head about these things that you'll spend more time on those than you will on the actual message itself.
That, or you'll just get so tired trying to figure out something creative that you will just do something completely standard and kind of default back to great opportunity for you and let me know if you're interested. And you wouldn't have spent so much time thinking about it if that was working. So
yeah, ain't that
let's
the
find
truth?
something else.
Yeah. All right. So what's your advice? How do you crack these?
So you got to think of it in terms of you got to catch their attention, and you have to do it in an unconventional way, something that deposits something into their favor bank, because essentially you're asking for them to reply to you. Obviously, if they're interested, they're going to reply. That's an easy catch because they're already somewhat looking and things like that. As a recruiter, you're also trying to pique the interest of passive candidates. And passive candidates that are absolutely amazing, they're getting hammered by recruiters. And so why should they be responding to you? You have to be creative. You have to stand out. The best way to stand out, in my personal opinion, very biased, but it is horrible dad jokes. So for example, what I used to do is in the subject line, I would put the question of the dad joke, and they would have to open my email to see the response. And that, at the very least, if it was so bad, or even if it was a halfway decent dad joke, it made them giggle. It deposited something. I don't know any single person that doesn't enjoy a good giggle from an absolutely terrible dad joke that makes their eyes roll. So one example that I have is for an enterprise systems administrator. Is in the subject line, you can say something along the lines of, hey, why do enterprise system administrators always get invited to parties? They open the email and it says, because they know how to network. And then you can just say, hi, Sam, hi, first name. Hope this bad dad joke made you giggle. I'm reaching out to you because I have a really cool opportunity. It's for, you guessed it, enterprise systems administrator. Would love to tell you a little bit more about it. And then cue the call to action.
Okay.
And then let's see. And with a call to action, you want to keep it broad and neutral. So majority of the time, recruiters will say something like, let me know if you're interested. What recruiters don't realize that then in that case is anybody who's not interested doesn't feel kind of spoken to by that particular call of action. So you're missing out on additional candidate feedback. And so what I used to do is I would say something along the lines of, if you're interested, let me know. Happy to provide some more details on this. If you're not interested, no hard feelings, just let me know and I will take you off our email list. That second part where I was saying, if you're not interested, still please let me know. That was super helpful in getting responses, because then people would say, I'm not interested in this role, but I am interested in hearing about other opportunities. And this is where then I was able to dive in and say, oh, anything in particular that you have in mind, I can keep my eye out for you. And that way you can start a conversation. Maybe that's a hidden gem. Maybe that's a hidden impact player. Maybe that's a potential hiring manager after you have a conversation with them. So you never know. The other part of that was also, if they're not interested, they say, you know what, I'm not interested because this job is laughable. The parameters, what you're telling me about, is completely ridiculous. That's valuable input that you then can include and tell your clients. And this is where then you can say, out of the 200 people that I have approached about this role, I have gotten 150 responses. That's a killer response rate. When you're doing any kind of business development, you can lead with, my response rate is above 30%, above 50%, whatever it is, because that is going to be super attractive to hiring managers, because then they will know they can get some good insights from the market by using you specifically and your creative methods.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I like that. I mean, you're getting so many things. Most people treat these as just like a single serve usage of like, send an email, okay, they didn't respond or anything else. But this is, no, it's like, interested, cool, let's talk about that. You're not interested, but there's something else you might be, cool, let's talk about that. Or not interested, salary is out of whack, not the job title, something else. That's a data point for you to, again, take back. So these are all doing things to bolster your success in front of the eyes of the hiring manager or for your future business itself. So I love that you take those three approaches into really incorporating all that feedback into the output of it. So CTAs, you talk about the neutral CTA, and do you have any other examples of, because I know this is always a tough one. It's like, do you want to just think or assume that someone's going to want to talk to you? Or again, to your point of like, no response is not a good response, so to speak. Like, what are some other potential neutral CTAs that you might think about there?
You can insert some humor in there as well. So something that you can do is, hey, if this piques your interest, let's chat. If not, no big deal. Just tell me and I'll stop pestering you like a telemarketer during dinner time. So you can get really creative with these. And I don't know if you guys know this, but you can use ChatGPT for this too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's I always say, it's like, use GPT, AI to help you with certain things. And like, to the, like your point of the subject line, especially, okay, like, what's the job title plus dad joke? Like, come up with 5 funny-ish ones. Like, that's a perfect example of how to use it. You can tailor it or anything else, but it's a lot harder coming from a dad to come up with dad jokes than you think. That's why we use the same ones over and over and over. So why not go to ChatGPT to come up with some new ones?
There you go. And that way you're standing out. And the important thing is that, especially when you're reaching out to candidates that are not interested and you still want to get some kind of feedback from them, you have to give them something to incentivize them to use their time to specifically respond to you, because they're either responding to all recruiters or they're responding to the recruiters that are standing out to them for some reason. And so you want to be different from everybody else in one way or another. Obviously, there will be some different parameters for like executive search where you have to be a little bit more professional, but I don't know a single executive that wouldn't appreciate a really lame dad joke. So you never know.
Love it. Well, anything else that we missed or should add to this short, quick Tactical Tuesday?
I would say definitely use some A/B testing to figure out whether your conventional great opportunity, let me know if you're interested approach and how it measures up to using a couple of different dad jokes. Loxo Outreach has A/B campaign testing capabilities. Definitely recommend jumping into Loxo if you're not already and testing this out and see what the numbers say. Obviously, you don't just want to have opens and clicks. You want to have responses. The response is the holy grail, because this is when you can curate relationships. This is where you can stand out so that whenever somebody is asking for a recruiter or about a recruiter, you're the first one that comes to mind, because ultimately the most powerful way of getting business as a recruiter is through word of mouth. And this is one fun and easy way to do this. One of the best parts about like starting my day when I was a recruiter was looking up different dad jokes for the professions that I was recruiting on, sharing them with the office. I mean, that just makes life so much easier. And as a recruiter, you keep getting no's all day. Might as well just throw out a couple of dad jokes and amuse yourself and see what the responses are.
Get a little positivity going. Exactly. Yeah. I love it. Well, Vivien, thank you as always for taking the time to come and join us on the show. I love that you share your knowledge and your humor with us. I already know, I'm not even going to guess that some recruiters are going to do this. I know that some recruiters are going to start incorporating this in their day-to-day moving forward. So as everyone knows, Becoming a Hiring Machine is a production of Loxo. If you loved this episode, which I know you did, and you're not sure where to go next, we've got a link to a similar one in the show notes for you, and you can find those in the description of your favorite podcast streaming platform, as well as on our website. Full video episodes are available on YouTube, and if you ever have questions for us, looking for advice, send those over to us, podcast@loxo.co. So, all right, everyone, that's the show. That was an incredible Tactical Tuesday with Vivien. Until next time, bye, y'all.